Welcome back to 2012. You know, a story that I really like, the all-important T-shirt contest at Cafe Press. Ron Paul is slipping. He has slid from the lead in sales, or he's now tied with President Obama at 41% of sales. Romney at 17%. That's if you go to cafepress.com to buy a Romney for President T-shirt. And Gary Johnson coming up just a little bit, but he's on the meter, and that's about it. 41% of the sales are pro-Obamas, while 59% are anti-Obama. So that's another thing to monitor. We're checking every poll here at 2012, and then we're going to also turn our attention now to some ads that are running that are being released actually today. One by the Obama campaign and one by a Romney PAC. This is the Obama campaign releasing an ad called Mosaic. Let's take a look.
I'm Barack Obama, and I approve this message.
I'm going to reduce taxes. I'm going to roll back.
As governor, Mitt Romney did cut taxes on millionaires like himself, but he raised taxes and fees on everyone else. $1.5 billion, over 1,000 fee hikes on health care, on school bus rides, on milk, on driver's licenses, on nursing homes, on lead poisoning prevention, on meat and poultry inspection, on fishermen and gun owners, on nurses, on electricians, on hospitals, on funeral homes, on mental health services, on hospice care. Romney economics didn't work then and won't work now.
You know, the Obama campaign is now trying to frame their opponent for the first time in a sort of a consistent way, and a concerted effort being done to do that. And this is from the campaign. It's always important to remember which ads are coming from the campaign, which ads are coming from the PACs. We know that they work in cahoots, but when we see this campaign ad, we know this is something the Obama people are planning. This is their strategy. Talk about what he did when he was governor of Massachusetts. Talk about what he would do as president. And that is, in fact, an effective message and something you're going to hear a lot about as the year goes on. Of course, we're sitting here in June, and these ads will change because there will be things that are reacted to by both campaigns, and that's happening on the Romney side already. You'll remember President Obama during his 3 weeks of was sort of sour 3 weeks he had leading into this week, really capped only by his, or ended only by his economic speech that he gave in Ohio last week. There were 3 bad weeks, one of which he said he had a gaffe in a press conference where he said the public sector is doing fine. Well, last week we saw some ads from the Romney campaign and their PACs that are saying the public sector is not, in fact, doing fine. They're continuing on that theme, and they're going to play off this gaffe. It will get tired before it's effective.
America's jobless rate just went up again. But after a record 40 straight months of unemployment over 8%, President Obama insists
The private sector is doing fine.
23 million Americans can't find full-time jobs. 30% have been out of work for over a year. And under Obama, nearly 800,000 more women are unemployed.
The private sector is doing fine. Private sector is doing fine.
Restore Our Future is responsible for the content of this message.
You know, Restore Our Future is a PAC, but it's the same thing. They're playing off of the gaffe that the president made. It's not the kind of gaffe that really is getting a lot of traction. It's only getting traction in the ad world. What is getting traction is President Obama talking about immigration. His immigration move, like, you know, listen, people talk about the president being a politician, saying this is all politics. He is a politician. That's what he does. He's the president of the United States. And in order to win the presidency, again, in order to win re-election, he's got to do some things that are purely politics, but they are well-informed and occasionally progressive and liberal politics that he was elected on. He hasn't done it much as president, but he's going to start doing it more as a candidate. You saw it with the gay marriage support announcement. Of course, it was not legislation, it was an announcement, but that is what leads the way generally to some kind of legislation, and generally leads the way in the country turning its course on an issue like that, on social issues especially. But now 64% of Americans in a recent poll have decided that they support what the president said on immigration, giving status to people who have to renew it every 2 years. There's nothing permanent about it. To immigrants, children of immigrants who came over here between the years of 16, who are 16 and 30 years old. It's an important, really important piece of I would say it's not legislation again, but a piece of presidential maneuvering because of what he can do with that, with the Hispanic vote. The Hispanic vote is something that's going to be very elusive to Mitt Romney in the fall, and Marco Rubio will not change that much. Marco Rubio is not the kind of Hispanic with the same kind of Hispanic background as so many of the immigrants who came here either illegally or legally and are in different parts of this country. The Cuban immigrant story is very different than the rest of the Hispanic influx into this country, and I think that won't translate. What will translate are the kinds of things that President Obama did last week. It makes people, and it's already showing 64% of voters in the big picture support it. 49% of Hispanic voters are more likely to vote for the president than they would have been already because of that. Those poll numbers are very good. It does not look good for the Romney campaign. It hasn't looked good from the very beginning. 61% to 27% support President Obama amongst Hispanics. That doesn't seem to be changing. All of this focus, though, is making Romney decide that his efforts are best spent elsewhere. He's spending a lot of time campaigning in Michigan. The poll showed that it's within the margin of error there. There's one poll that showed that Obama was well ahead. I don't believe that poll either. I think that's a tighter race in Michigan than the president expected. He's going to have to put some resources there. I do still think he's going to win the state of Michigan. So we thank Rob Zurban for being on 2012 today. Hope you enjoyed the ads, and we'll be back with more 2012.